right? So I'm gonna try again through the spirit with this brother Yah, with the servants, right? Want to give our honor and glory to Yahweh Shemi Shah, right? In this video on 3 precepts, right, to keep you on fire in this thing, right? 3 precepts, right, to keep you on fire, right? So the first precept I'm gonna go to is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, and verse 167. It says, "My soul have kept thy testimonies, and I love them exceedingly." So it says, "Thy soul has kept the testimonies." What are the testimonies? The testimonies is the laws of the Most High, the laws, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh, right? So we got to keep these testimonies. We got to keep these laws, man. Our very soul, we got to keep these laws, statutes, commandments for our very survival, man. Right? That's how we get the kingdom, by keeping the commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh, and of course having faith in Him, right? So we got to make sure that we're keeping these commandments, keeping these testimonies, right? And it says, "And I love them exceedingly." So you got to make sure that you have love, that you desire, right? That you delight, right, in the commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh, right? Just like David did, right? Just like our forefathers did, right? He said, "If you love me, you'll keep my precepts," right? I mean, keep my commandments, right? So with that being said, we gotta love keeping these laws, statutes, commandments. We gotta love it, man, right? Gotta love it. And then we think about it in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 46, right? It says, "Because you didn't keep my commandments with joyfulness and with gladness of heart." So you don't want to carry on that same spirit of our forefathers and foremothers, right? They didn't keep the commandments with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, right? You gotta take joy, right, and gladness that you in keeping the commandments, keeping the Sabbath day holy, wearing your fringes, right, keeping the dietary laws, loving your brothers like you're supposed to, love your brothers and sisters like you're supposed to, right? So that's the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and 167, right? The next precept is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 15. It says, "See then that you walk circumspectly," right? And we got to be walking circumspectly. Like we got to be circumspect in our walk in this truth, right? In our day-to-day life, we got to be circumspect, right? We got to be vigilant. We got to be on our P's and Q's, right? Especially in the spirit, because all kind of demons, right, and things try to hop on you, right? So you got to be circumspect, right? It says, "Not as fools," right? Because a foolish man, he's not going to be circumspect. A foolish man, he's not going to be vigilant, right? But we as wise men, right, we gotta move as a wise man, right? Which means sober, right? Being diligent, right? That's how you move circumspectly, right? You gotta be diligent. You gotta be sober in this thing, right? Keep your physically being sober, as in not being drunk out here, and also, you know what I'm saying, spiritually sober, not being given heed to seducing spirits and ideologies and doctrines, right? Because these different doctrines are what can get you drunk, right? Christianity can get you drunk, right? So we're gonna be wise and sober in this thing and move with circumspectly, right? And then the next precept is this. It's Deuteronomy chapter 20 and verse 8, right? And it reads this. It says, and the officers shall speak further into the people, and they shall say, what man is there that is fearful and faint-hearted? Let him go and return to his house, lest his brethren's heart faint as well as his heart, right? So that it's going into war, right? And we always at war. We at war with demons through the spirit, right? We war with the flesh, right? So you want to make sure in this walk that you're not faint-hearted, right? Because if you're faint-hearted, you're not going to make it, right? You're not ready for the battle. That's basically what he's saying. If you faint-hearted, you're not ready for the battle, and because you're not faint-hearted, because you are faint-hearted, that you're going to affect everybody else's spirit because you are faint-hearted, right? And that can happen. You around a brother that's not really sincere, or that's not really diligent, or don't really trust in the Lord, and that spirit can hop on you, man, right? So when you're starting to feel that you're not being diligent, or you start to be not sincere. Because why? Because this spirit done hopped on you, right? So you want to make sure that you being on fire, and that you're not being you're not being faint-hearted in this thing, right? Because it could affect your brothers and sisters. It could affect your household, right? It could affect your wife, right? Because you're faint-hearted, now your wife, she start being faint-hearted because that's how it goes, right? Spirits hop. So you want to make sure in these last days that you're not being faint-hearted, right? And ready and being prepared and ready for war. But to be prepared and ready for war, you gotta walk circumspectly, right? You can't walk as a fool, right? You gotta walk as a wise man, right? And also you gotta keep the testimonies, the laws, statutes, commandments of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's how you move, and that's how you move circumspectly, and that's how you also through the spirit be better prepared for war. You know what I'm saying? Because a fool, he's not gonna be vigilant in wartime, right? He's gonna get caught lacking, right? he gonna get ran through out here, right? So with that being said, those were three precepts through the Spirit to keep you on fire. Lord willing, that was edifying through the Spirit. Want to give our honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ala Yah, right, with the servants, right? Shalom, shalom, shalom.